Okay, number one says Eric earns money at the local burger restaurant. He earns $26.25 for 3 hours and $43.75 for 5 hours. And so part A says write an equation for the proportional relationship. Okay, so he earns 26.25 for 3 hours and 43.75 for 5 hours. Okay, so here let's take our top and divide it by the bottom, and we would figure out that is 8.75, right? We're essentially finding the unit rate right here. That means he gets paid $8.75 per hour. Okay, so that is our constant rate of change, right? This right here is our K. That's our constant rate of change. And so the equation for this proportional relationship would be y equals 8.75 times x. Okay, which would mean every hour that he works, if we call x our hours, every hour that he works, he gets paid $8.75, and our output would be y. That is the amount of money that he makes. Okay, so if we want to figure out how much he earns in 9 hours, I'm going to take 9 and put it in for x, right? If we're calling x our number of hours. So if he gets paid $8.75 per hour and works for 9 hours, well, I just take 8.75 and multiply by 9, and I would get my answer here, right? Of course, that would be in dollars. So yes, you can use a calculator, but at least show me how you found K by taking your dollars and dividing by your hours, and then show me how you know that you should do 8.75 times 9 to get how much he makes for 9 hours. Okay, number two, doing something very similar here. You want to know the equation for the proportional relationship, and so take your money, 42, and divide by your hours, and 94.50, and divide by 9. Okay, and see if you get the same thing. When you take 42 divided by 4 and 94.50 divided by 9, do you get the same thing? You should, because it's a proportional relationship. And so then you can write your equation. Y equals K X. K will be whatever this is, right? So figure out your rate and put it in there. Okay, once you have your equation, then if you want to figure out how much she will earn in 10 hours, then you're going to take how much she earns in 1 hour and multiply that by 10. All right, same thing here. Number three, Red picks up a part-time job at the appliance store. So he earns $58.50 for 6 hours and $70 for 8 hours. So take $58.50 and divide by 6, take 78 and divide by 8. And so that will tell you how much he earns in 1 hour. And so once you know how much he earns in 1 hour, if you use the proportional relationship y equals kx, take however much he earns in 1 hour and put that in for k. And then if you want to figure out how much he earns in 3 hours, you're going to take 3 and put it in here for x. Number 4, a student studies the same amount of time each day for a test. In 5 days, she studied 90 minutes. Which equation shows this relationship? So she studies the same amount each day. And so we could say a constant rate of change, right? On day 1, she studies some number of amount. On day 2, she studies that same amount. Day 3, that same amount. Okay, so there is a constant rate of change here. So she studies 90 minutes over the course of 5 days. So if you take 90 divided by 5, that will tell you her average time spent each day. So 90 divided by 5, that will be your K. Okay, and then you can put K into the equation y equals kx, and you can choose your solution. Number 5 here, you have time in hours. You call this your x value, and your pages red, your y value. So to determine if the relationship is proportional, you're going to take your y values and divide by your x values. Okay, so let's try this pair first. Y value 50 over x value of 2. 50 over 2 is 25. Okay, then you have 75 over 3. 75 over 3, okay, also 25. Okay, but this must be true of every pair in the relationship. So, like I could try this one, 90 over 4. I could try this one, but let me just try this one, 120 over 6. What's 120 over 6? Well, that would be 20, right? And so as you can tell, these are not the same. They're not the same, and so no. the relationship is not proportional. And if it's not proportional, we don't need to answer parts B and C. Okay, you try number 6. What's called time your x values and distance your y values. So to see if there is a proportional relationship, to find k, you would take your y's and divide by your x's. And if you do, and it's the same every time, then the proportional relationship is in fact proportional.